Good afternoon and welcome to Brothers of Men. I'm Jeffrey Russell. We're going to do something a little bit different today. Please tell us if you like it in the comments below. Be sure to subscribe and like the video as well. Now today's news. Green Party nominee Jill Stein appeared to have met her fundraising goal Thursday for recounts in 3 key swing states that went for Donald Trump: Michigan, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin. The Green Party didn't single out any specific evidence of fraud, but reported hacks into voter and party databases as well as email accounts are causing many Americans to wonder if our election results are reliable, Stein said Wednesday. These concerns need to be investigated before the 2016 presidential election is certified. We deserve elections we can trust. Now, the reason for this is they believe that the Russians were involved and possibly hacked voter machines, although there has been no proof. Now, for those of us who can actually remember things, we were told that President-elect Donald Trump was crazy for even suggesting that our elections could possibly be rigged. Obama was even quoted as saying, "What does that even mean?" This only shows the backwards agenda of the left. Now, they note that a small minority of public polls predicted Trump's success. And although public polls have been wrong before, the magnitude of their error this cycle is unprecedented. Now, this could also mean that the polls were rigged, plain and simple, just like they were in Brexit. The morning of that vote, the people who voted to get out of the EU were 10 points down, and they won by a fairly substantial amount. Now, there is a very small chance that a recount in those states could boost Clinton. However, it's not likely. Trump won Michigan by about 9,500 votes, Wisconsin by over 22,000, and Pennsylvania by almost 70,000 votes. And although voter fraud has been discovered to the tune of several million for Clinton from illegal votes and dead votes, the left continues to push the narrative that Clinton has won the popular vote. Trump aide Kellyanne Conway took a jab at the effort on Thursday, tweeting, "Look who can't accept the election results." Now let's take a look at this. On the day of the election and during early voting, there was a plethora of vote flipping. So bad in some cases that paper ballots were brought in to substitute. And of course, votes only seemed to flip from Trump to Clinton, not the other way around. Now, according to blackboxvoting.org, ran by the woman who actually discovered election fraud in the 2000 election in Florida, shows that Clinton actually did better in counties where voter fraud is known to be higher. They also discovered what is called the magic key to fractional voting. Basically what it is it's a back door to voting hubs where all the votes are sent and tallied. And it uses fractions to change votes to obtain the voter percentage desired. You can find the video showing how that works on blackboxvoting.org. Now, today is Thanksgiving, and in Louisville, gunmen exchanged about 20 shots at a Thanksgiving Day youth football event, thrusting Louisville past its homicide record. 2 people were killed and 4 others injured in the brazen acts of violence. A source familiar with the investigation said Metro Police believe the shootings may have stemmed from an argument when a man in his 60s bumped into the motorcycle of a man in his 20s who had a gun. Once the person was shot, other people nearby pulled out guns to retaliate. And unfortunately, at the time of the making of this video, the suspect has not been found. Now, CNN, Moscow. Russia hopes to resume dialogue and bring back relations with the U.S. back to a constructive course, according to Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov, who said it could be hard to make them worse. Peskov said, "I'd like to remind you of President Putin's words. Numerous times he has talked about his wish to build good, mutually beneficial relations based on mutual respect and equality. The U.S. population seems to have completely been in the dark when it comes to U.S.-Russian relations. President Putin was advising his own people to stock up food and locate the closest nuclear shelter, while President Obama was busy running campaign rallies for Hillary Clinton, who said that she was looking for any reason to go to war with countries like Russia and Iran. Now, New York, also CNN. Donald Trump has never been one to shy away from speaking, or more accurately, tweeting his mind. But critics say it took him too long to publicly disavow a shockingly racist speech Saturday by a white nationalist leader whose rallying cry mirrored those of Adolf Hitler. Hail Trump! Hail our people! Hail victory! Richard Spencer shouted from the podium of the annual convention for his think tank called the National Policy Institute. Spencer calls himself the founder of the alt-right movement, a label that's been applied to far-right extremists advocating for white nationalism. Now, here's another example of how the media twists reality to fit their narrative. Now, the alt-right is big. It's bigger than one man. The alt-right is made of many different journalists, news outlets, bloggers, YouTubers, and average people like myself who don't buy the mainstream media's narrative. So in an attempt to discredit the entire truth movement, they find the worst possible representative of it and turn him or her into the poster child of that movement in order to keep it from gaining support. Now, I think we can all agree that Nazis have earned a very special place in hell, because that is not what the alt-right has ever stood for. The alt-right is the mighty ducks of the media, downtrodden underdogs who, with the right leader, might just do the impossible. Defeat the big banks, defeat the globalist agenda, and give this country back to the people, giving us all a chance to make our own path instead of following the status quo and being slaves to the 1%. Now, I consider myself alt-right. The alt-right includes a lot of people, but we all have a few things in common. We want freedom, we want prosperity, and we want the chance to make our own future instead of having one plowed before us. Now, I'm not saying that there aren't some racist people out there. There are. There's racist white people. But you know what? There's racist black people. There's racist Mexicans. Have you ever heard of La Raza, which means the race? That's racism. Look it up. People who say that white people have never experienced racism, I'm sorry, but for the last 4 or 5 years, that's all we've experienced. If you are a straight white male, you are judged based on the fact that you are a straight white male, that you have things like white privilege, which I'm still waiting for that to kick in. So we're not racist. We're not sexist. We want the truth. We want freedom. We need to stop fighting each other, and we need to start fighting together. We need to stop fighting each other and realize that the people who are controlling the division in this country are going to the bank because we're not paying attention. Now, we're all slaves. I'm a slave, you're a slave. No matter what color you are, your job is to provide for the top. And if that's not a slave, I don't know what is. Now, the left has been pushing these lies that all Trump supporters are racist, sexist bigots, even though that has been proven time and time again to be untrue. But they're doing it to keep us divided. And if they keep us divided, we will never be able to see the big picture. And if you think that this is all a conspiracy theory, if you think that globalism isn't real, go look at Agenda 21. Go look at what they want to do to average Americans. Go look at how they want us to live. Go look at some of the executive orders that state the president at any time can pull average citizens into work camps. They can take all the fuel, all the provisions, all the food. They can take that away from us, and there's nothing that we can do. So if that was never going to be used, why would they need that? Why would they pass something like that if they weren't planning on using it someday? Now, you just don't hear it talked about because nobody wants to think about bad things. We all want to bury our head in the sand and move on with our lives. And I understand that to a point. But you know what? You might not pay for it. You might not pay the price. But what about your kids? What about your grandkids? Kicking the can down the road is one of the most cowardly things you can do as a human being. We need to stand up together and take this country back. And I do believe that this has started with Donald Trump. Whether you like the man or not, he is our last chance to give the government back to the people. So I hope you all will hear this message, and I hope that it finds you well. Have a wonderful day, happy holidays, Merry Christmas, and be good to each other. Thank you.